admit it.
Okay, thank you. Contestant 2, Liz Reed. I am a nerd. I am a nerd. Liz Reed.
I am a nerd. Fellow Toastmasters, guests, and esteemed judges, you are absolutely correct. I don't have braces, my face isn't full of pimples, and I'm not a teenage boy. But I assure you, I am indeed a nerd. While I do not have the stereotypical look of a nerd, I am a nerd. A nerd has above average intelligence, but below average social skills. We spend an inordinate amount of time doing things that other people consider to be complex, boring, and dull. The first indications that I was a nerd occurred in elementary school. I loved school. I would sit at the edge of my seat and I'd raise my hand. I could not wait to answer questions. I did not care as much for show and tell, but give me a chance to show off my long division skills and I was at the board in a flash. Our school did not have a lot of diversity, but if you looked around, I stood out. I was the little girl that looked like she hadn't combed her hair in a week. I hadn't. If I could hop out of the house without combing it, I did. The kids, they would come to school and they would talk about parties they attended. I was not invited. My own parties, no one came. The teachers, they noticed my intellectual aptitude and considered raising me through the grades quicker. But when they noticed my social incompetence, I remained with my peers. 5th grade. That is when the bullying began. I was wearing this new dress. It was white knit. It was all fuzzy, came to about my knees. And I was wearing these little white anklet socks and dress shoes. It was a cold, wintry day. And I was getting ready to come home from school, so I put on my coat and I ventured out my way. The walk paths contained no sidewalks, but there were intermittent driveways. Some of the driveways were treacherous. The snow had begun to melt and refroze. Footprints frozen in place. The edges of the prints shot up like sharp shards of glass. That's when the bullying began. Girls behind me grabbed balls and began to hurl them at my cold, uncovered legs. Thud, thud. I quickly tried to ignore them and hurried along my way. That's when I ran across one of those driveways. I slipped. I fell. I began to push myself up, and that's when I saw the blood streaming from my knees to my anklet socks. I began to cry, not from the physical pain. Oh, I continued along my nerdy ways. I did manage to find out the importance of a comb by middle school. But I still loved the thrill when I learned to calculate the hypotenuse of a right triangle. It thrilled me to death. In high school, I found a boyfriend. I started hanging out with his friends. He confided in me. My friends, they don't like it when you use big words. They don't understand you. They think you're trying to act stuck up. I didn't know I was using big words. I thought they were normal. 1984. That's when the movie came out. Revenge of the Nerds! I got it! I'm a nerd. I'm cool with that. I currently work as a civil servant. I do analytical work. I fit in like a piece in a puzzle. My colleagues use big words. They like to talk about statistics, validity, and regression analysis. I'm in heaven. My hobbies: I like to play Sudoku, words with friends, and competitive Pokemon. Yes, even Battlestar Galactica and Star Trek nerds consider themselves superior to a Pokemon nerd. I'm a nerd. Maybe some of you are nerds. Or maybe you're different in some other way. Maybe you felt left out, like you didn't quite fit in. I encourage you, get to know what those differences are. Appreciate those things that make you unique. Once you get to know and love and respect the differences in yourself, you have the opportunity to love and respect the differences in others. Those girls, that 5th grade year, they did not understand or appreciate the differences in themselves. They couldn't understand the differences in me. Embrace yourself and embrace the world.